Are you a business owner looking for real advice and input? You're in the right place. From concept to launch to growth, funding, and beyond. Welcome to Startup Hustle with your hosts. One once sold a business for $150 million. The other, the author of $1 Million Bedroom. Here are your hosts of Startup Hustle, Matt DeCoursey and Matt Watson.
And we're back. Another episode of Startup Hustle. Matt DeCoursey here with Greg Blome.
How's it going?
Greg, and you're going to sit in for Matt today, right?
I think so, yeah.
He's missing out. He's
He
missing
really
out.
is.
Before we get started, I need to let everyone know that Startup Hustle is brought to you by Fullscale.io, which is the business that me, myself, and my absent co-host own together. We help people build stuff on the internets. That's not what you do, Greg.
Nope.
You're the co-founder of Omega Power Creamer,
Yeah,
which has an interesting story that we're going to tell today.
I think so. Yeah.
So, dude, let's let people know, what is Omega Power Creamer?
So Omega Power Creamer is a keto-friendly coffee creamer.
Okay, and he's going to hand me some of this right now.
go.
I'm going to hold it up for the camera, so if you're on YouTube, you can see this. Okay, Omega Power Creamer. This is the original blend, made with grass-fed ghee.
Ghee.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of like the milk fat of butter.
Okay.
And coconut oil and MCT oil. And yeah, we have 5 flavors now, which we just released the pumpkin spice as well. So perfect timing for
Yeah, my
falls and
wife is
flowers.
like a total pumpkin spice junkie. Like, that's probably what I should probably sprinkle myself with pumpkin spice, because then she'll probably like me a lot more. But yeah, that is good timing. So, all right. So this is a product. It's keto friendly. I've been on the keto diet. My wife's been on it. Watson's on it.
I saw
Or
that.
has been. It's popular. Is everything about the Omega Power Creamer keto driven?
It's very keto driven and just hitting on like low carbs, low sugar, and high quality fats.
I'm not technically on the keto diet. I might be more on the Atkins. Like,
Yeah.
I just like low carb.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't do it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't just live off of like meat.
Meat and fats.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just like eventually after like a few months, it kind of gets old for me. So anyway, this is a product that you guys can check it out. I love it when everyone is interactive. So if you have the ability to go to powercreamer.com or at powercreamer on the gram, check it out. So, all right, you've sold quite a bit of this stuff.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, and congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
And that's kind of what we want to talk about. So, first off, what made you start this? Like, where did this come from?
Well, so my old roommate and I, after we lived together in college, we lived together post college, and we both had just like we went into I went into accounting, he went into finance, econ, and he got an insurance job after college, and we're both kind of all right, let's try to find something on the side that we can do to hopefully, find something more passionate that we're about. So this is right about the time when keto started showing up in California. So we're kind of just trying to spot trends, right? And
No, the Atkins diet was out a long time before that. Yeah.
Long time before that.
Yeah.
And it kind of faded. And it's almost making a resurgence with keto, which is slightly different, but still.
I mean, and for those of you who don't know the difference, Atkins is just like low carb.
It's low carb.
I saw that for the first time 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember because I worked at this pizza place, and we also made burgers, and a guy came in and he was like, man, I'm on this new diet and I can eat all the hamburgers I want, but I can't have the bun. I was like, man, that's crazy. How can you possibly be on a good diet where you just eat hamburgers?
Just eating burgers.
Okay, so now you're spotting trends.
Yeah, we're spotting trends, and we both are experimenting with our diets. And at that point, I was going into work and I was drinking this bulletproof coffee, and I was taking individual ingredients and taking them to work, and realized all right, this is kind of a hassle because I'm taking different fats to work, which can spill, whatever. So
and let people know, the bulletproof coffee. I don't think everybody knows what that is, but I saw my wife was drinking it on keto, and I was like, what are you doing? You're putting butter in your coffee.
It's basically butter and coconut oil, or MCT oil in your coffee.
So what's
and
the
blending
purpose?
it up.
Like, what's the purpose of doing that? Like, what's the dietary like design of why that? Because when I think about, hey, I want to lose weight, putting butter in my coffee isn't the intuitive thing to do.
You wouldn't think, right?
Right.
So it's basically to replace having any type of sugars or carbs in the morning. So you're replacing them with healthy fats. So to start your day, you're just not consuming any. It's basically a replacement. And these healthy fats, like with the MCT oil as well, it provides your body with more immediate source of energy. It like bypasses the liver. It's like really fast. So yeah, it's just like it's just the healthy fats are like the fuel for your body instead of like using glucose, which is just like the sugars and carbs.
Okay, so now you see this, but at this point, you're not making power creamer.
We were not. We were experimenting.
Apparently.
We were making like versions of it in our apartment, and like we got to the point where we like gave up on the idea because we had to refrigerate it because we were trying it with butter, and that's when we stumbled across like ghee. And
so how long ago was this?
This was in like early 2015.
It's 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 years. Okay, so you're in your kitchen in your apartment. Now, for those of you that haven't made it to the YouTube channel, Greg's a young-looking dude. So 5 years ago, you probably looked even younger, but you're in your mid-20s, you're out of college, you're in your apartment, and you're running weird science experiments over the stove.
We were.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, where did the first anything come out?
So we talked to, like, we were living in St. Louis at the time, and we talked to St. Louis University. They have a kitchen there, and
okay,
we're like, all right, well, once we had the product ready, it was like the early form of it, but we're like, let's bottle it and just put it up on our Shopify website. So they let us go in there and make small batches of power creamer. At that time, it was just the original flavor. So
were you doing this when you said in St. Louis? Was it at the university or was it somewhere else?
It was at the university.
So did they have a commercial kitchen that
Their
you could
kitchen.
lease for like hours at a time?
Yep.
Okay, I think a lot of people, if you're listening and you want to do a food startup, like I was just first exposed to this a few years ago. It's actually a friend of mine was telling me about edibles, like, cannabis edibles. Right. And I was like, where the hell are you going to make these? And he's like, oh, you can rent commercial space and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, wow, that's an interesting possibility. But he was telling me that, you can get everything you need in a commercial kitchen for small amounts of time, schedule it out, whatever you're making, whether you're making power creamer or
anything,
edible gummies or whatever. Right. But okay, so obviously at this point you're thinking we might make something here.
Yeah, we saw potential with it, but with just being on Shopify, like we were having to drive all the traffic to our site, right? And it's like the early stages. So we did a few runs at SLU, and and
SLU is St. Louis
University kitchen. So one of my friend's dads owns he bottles different barbecue sauces and salsas and all that. So it's a manufacturer. So we approached them with this idea of they can make it for us, because everything would be like way more FDA compliant. It would alleviate all our concerns with the labeling. And he was like, we sat down with him and one of the other people he works with, and she's like, are we doing this just like as a favor, because it doesn't really make sense for our company, like there's not many units and all that. And he's just like, yeah, let's just try it.
You're trying to do like 50 or something like that?
Yeah, we're just doing like small runs. And
right.
And most times, like when you're doing any food product, there's like high minimums.
Yeah, sure.
Like approach anyone. So like this would be great if we can get in with low minimums. And I mean, going forward, like they pretty much cut most of their bottling line, and we're now like top 3 on the revenue in terms of any product.
So they didn't even want to let you on the line, and now they're pretty thrilled to have you.
I think so.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit and let's talk about, so you all right, we don't have to get too far into it. You found a commercial kitchen, you found a place to get the stuff into bottles, and you're selling it on your own site. But you mentioned something about FDA compliance and stuff like that. And I think that this is one of the things that's tricky with products like this. So, I mean, you clearly have a startup here.
Yep.
We're here on Startup Hustle, and this is all a hustle. By the way, I'm holding your product. This looks good now. I'm assuming it did not.
It did not
when
look
it first
this good.
came out, right? Did it look a little ratchet?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so at this point, because you're talking about doing like this little tiny run of stuff. I mean, you're probably like printing labels on your printer and goofy stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So in your Shopify store, and for those of you that, man, Shopify is cool. Like you can do a lot of stuff. I mean, people that have big, high volume e-commerce stores use Shopify, and you just don't even know it. But it gives you a well-rounded experience as a seller, because it just helps you print labels and keep inventory and stuff like that. But you have to drive traffic. And I think the mistake that so many people make, whether it's a software platform or grass-fed ghee or whatever you're selling, is just because you build it does not mean they will come.
They will not come, yeah.
So let's talk about that. What did you do to drive some traffic?
From the start, we kind of like hit on the influencer marketing aspect of things, and at that time, like even like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it was like super effective.
Sure, it still can be,
and it still can be. But then it was like a different level, easy to like just reach out, and then they'll post it, and you get sales. It was crazy to see. Like obviously you have to have the right product for that, but still.
So were you aiming at people that were in the influencers in the world of health or diet, or just like?
And we saw like the rise in
hot
like
people. I don't know.
the keto influencers we saw coming up. So
is that a real thing? There's keto influencers?
Influencers. Around like just anything around keto. So
it's amazing. There's like an influencer for everyone. You know, one of our past guests was a guy named Ryan O'Connell who owns a company called Blome, and they do the influencer marketing stuff. But he was in here talking about like the B and C influencers. They aren't like Kylie Jenner who wants $250,000 for a post, but these are people that still have significant followings that for like $100-$200 or something, throw it out there and you can get a fairly decent response.
Right. And a lot of ours was just like sending product for a shout out for free.
Sure.
Like we didn't even have to pay, and that we still try to use that model.
Do you know that if you send your products to us here at Full Scale, we will probably shout you out, because we have this pen. Do you like this pen?
It's very nice.
It's got a big diamond on it. Thank you, Penco. And I'm drinking Thou Mayest coffee.
Oh, good stuff.
Yes, local. Bo brought this by. Thank you, Bo. So yes, as you can see, we will shout you out. Okay, so but you only bottled like 50 things, dude. Did you actually sell out?
We were selling at a pretty good rate. That's why we approached. We tried to get someone to make it for us instead of going to the kitchen. We also almost like we didn't get like in trouble by the FDA, but they're like, you better check your labels to like make sure that this, like we label this as a food, but MCT oil is a supplement. So it's like this middle ground of like, how do you label this product? So it was tricky. So
do you have to hire someone to get advice on that?
We didn't have to hire anyone. We kind of like sought out our own advice, and the company that now makes it for us, they have good guidance on that as well.
Got a bootstrapping alert here. Clearly like seeking, were you surprised at how willing people were to help you just because you asked?
Pretty much. I mean, there was a lot of people willing to help. It's like they probably don't get approached very often by something like this.
I mean, they might or they might not, or I mean, maybe just asking nicely works.
Yeah.
Like I think that, I always tell people that are trying to get something started, I say, go find some people that are already doing what you want to do and just go ask them. Just say, hey, look, because the likelihood that someone helped them is high.
Is very high.
And they're going to, it's just like, I don't know, it's like tribal knowledge. It's just you got to pass it down. Okay, so you're wrangling some things, some FDA regulations and stuff like that. See, I'm like looking at this right now. It's talking about nutritional facts. Like, how do you even figure out that there are 120 calories in one serving of this?
Just based on percentages of the fats in there, which a lot of the fats have like similar profiles, but there are legitimately like no carbs and no protein in this. So it's just all fat. So it's kind of easy to...
So that's just based on ratios? Because a calorie is a unit of heat. You don't have to like melt it or burn it up or anything like that. You do or don't?
We don't have to.
So that's how this is just figured out. They say if you've got X amount of this in there, then that's 80 calories, and you add some
that's interesting.
cholesterol and this and that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So influencer marketing's popping.
Yep.
You got to go a little further than that. I mean, so like, I'm sure that drove some traffic to the Shopify site, but did you then have issues with order fulfillment?
A little bit. We were fulfilling them out of our apartment for a while.
Right.
And yeah, we're spending we're working on this after work, and we're spending a lot of the time like just fulfilling orders, and it's like we want to be spending this time like actually
doing something
working.
else. Yeah.
So, it took a little time, and we found a fulfillment company to do that for us.
Fulfillment's a pain in the ass.
It is. It takes a lot of time.
It is. I've talked to quite a few people about that want to sell products. So I was originally a product guy. You know, I worked in the music industry for a while on the musical instrument side, and kind of switched over to software. But yeah, man, that's a whole thing. And so with that, you know, I see you've got on my notes here, you have some experience with Amazon, who will fulfill your orders for you.
That's pretty great.
But you're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they charge 30%, or depends on what you're doing. Like, yeah. I mean, it kind of varies. And sometimes people cringe. They're like, God, Amazon's so expensive. I'm like, so is having a fulfillment center, or so is fulfilling them yourself. And like when it's tough too, because when you're getting started with something, like my books are an example. Like when a book comes out, if you market it well, you'll sell a whole bunch of them, and then it looks like Enron stock. Like it just like dives off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then you're selling like onesie twosies, and so you kind of have to stop what you're doing in order to ship a package or, you know, do something. And if you don't have like a whole bunch of them to send,
yeah,
you're kind of like, and you should never really be sad when you sell something. But if you have to stop what you're doing to deliver one of them, it'll make you kind of sad.
And drop it off at the post office.
Yeah, you can take it there,
the whole process.
And you don't have enough really going that UPS is going to come pick them up from you each day. And
right.
Yeah. So okay. So your fulfillment center, which is also known as your apartment, at this time. So you did say you used a fulfillment center.
Yeah.
Like a real one. Let's tell people what that is, because I think people want to sell products. It'd be good to know what that is and what they do.
So we ship them product. They store it, and then they fulfill any order that comes through. And ideally, like they'll have access to like your Shopify to see those orders, and then they create the shipping label, they apply it, and they ship them out for you. And usually there's like some sort of maybe like around $3 fee to fulfill each.
And so you're buying time in small doses of someone else that's already fulfilling the stuff. So right now I'm holding the other Omega Power Creamer. This is the cinnamon, also made with grass-fed ghee, coconut oil, and MCT oil. So with that, how much does one of these bottles cost?
It's $19.95.
Okay.
So it's a really high-priced creamer, right? Like in the space of creamers. So it's like $1 a serving is like the whole play. So most.
But keto stuff's expensive.
Keto
man.
stuff is
like
expensive.
I lived off of Quest bars.
Yeah.
For like a month, man. Like, God, thank you for the birthday cake flavored one. But those things are like $2-3 a piece. So like $1 a serving doesn't really scare me when it comes to keto. Now, if I'm just putting this in my coffee every morning and I'm not on keto, that might
can add up.
That might be a little different.
Yep.
Okay, but now you got to give $3 away to the fulfillment center.
Yep.
Were you paying for the shipping too?
Pay for shipping.
What's that? Around a couple bucks?
For this, I think it's up to like $4.
Okay, so now
USPS.
$7 is gone.
Right.
And does that include a box?
That includes the box.
Man, where does it go? Now you're down to $13 out of your 20.
Yep.
Okay, we won't talk about how much this costs to make. Hopefully it's less than $13.
It's definitely less, yeah.
But, okay, you also have the package.
Yeah.
You know, all these little things. But,
all the little things, the labels,
it all
the
starts
caps,
to add up, man. Now, that's the cost of doing business, though, right?
That's all right.
Some people say it's the price of tea in China. We'll say that is the price of Power Creamer in Kansas. Okay, so how long did it take you to get into Amazon?
At that point, so we applied, and it took like 3 months because it was harder to get approved into the grocery
I was
section.
going to say, did they have a different? So they have different rules for food products.
For food products.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure like how long it takes to get in now to the grocery category on Amazon, but like I hope it takes some time because you don't want people to just be throwing out crazy products when no one is regulating it.
Sure.
So yeah, it took us like 3 months, and then we finally got on, and we had like maybe one competitor. So like in the space of keto coffee creamers, we were one of the first ones on there, and we kind of owned that space, and we were getting a ton of organic traffic, and we were winning on all the ad spots. So we built.
Amazon's interesting because they, I have 3 books, and I've become familiar with Amazon because of that, and they definitely are all about your sales velocity.
Absolutely.
So they will put you at the top of the list for a whole lot of stuff if you're selling, and they will put you at the bottom of the list pretty fast if you're not.
You'll hit page 2, page 3.
Yeah, and then you're not getting found. So we're not going to get too far into your financials here, but you have sold well over $1 million worth of Omega Coffee Creamer, which congrats.
Thank
you.
We'll
let the guess on how much that is, because people listen to these in all different. Someone's going to listen to this in like a year, and you're going to double your sales volume by then. Okay, so did you have to send a whole lot of this to Amazon?
You can send any quantity, really.
But they'll charge you if you don't sell it fast enough.
They will, if it sits around.
And so speaking of that, does this have a shelf life?
It's about a year.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, perishable things are rough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's another thing too, that anytime something's perishable, you got to sell it before it goes bad, right?
Have to.
And no one wants you delivering something with an expiration date a week from now either.
Amazon will straight take you, like, if you're in there and they see that the expiration date's close, they will remove your product. They may even just throw it away and not even tell you. Like, I've heard some crazy stories.
Yeah, but they should.
They should, because, yeah.
Well, you got to keep in mind that Amazon is a marketplace, and while they do, it's crazy that they're well over 50% of all e-commerce sales at this point. But they want you to have a good experience, and people have a love-hate with them on some levels. As sellers, they're like, hey, this is expensive, but they can make your life pretty easy, and they can put a lot of eyeballs on your stuff. I look at Amazon as a search engine.
Absolutely.
And it's a search engine where everybody's there to buy, which on some levels makes it way better than Google.
Intent to buy, yeah. Very important.
Okay, so now as the volume starts picking up, were you able to start capitalizing on the ability to pop this out at more than batches of like 4 dozen?
That was how having like a producer, like, that was a big advantage, because we couldn't be doing this in like the kitchen still, so we can just scale up, and they were able to like accommodate that.
Was that technically a co-packer? Is that what that is?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So they pretty much, they'll mix the product, they'll bottle it, they'll like ship it to Amazon for us. So it's like we're able, like, we're a remote company, so I'm living in KC Mo, and my co-founder's in Minnesota right now. So we've been running this remotely when a lot of, like, our co-packer is in like Illinois. So we're doing this all remotely. So it's kind of like hard to like keep an eagle's eye on it, but we've been able to like do this for 3 years.
That makes you, at this point, because the formula's been similar, right?
Right.
So now you're a marketing company.
Right.
Yeah. Which you have to, like, you're a marketing company that happens to sell Power Creamer.
Right.
On some levels, but I mean that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, very good point.
Because it doesn't matter how awesome your product is if you can't sell it. God, there's so many great things that have just been sold poorly. It doesn't seem like this is one of them. Okay, so now Amazon's changed
a lot.
I mean, and it continues to evolve. So, one of my regular co-hosts is Andrew Morgans from Marknology, and we do some frequent updates about Amazon and some of it changing. And one of the things we talked about was Amazon has designated what they call crap, can't realize a profit. And they're not allowing certain things to be sold. Watson was just talking about a couple episodes ago, trying to order dish soap, and they didn't have it because they can't make any money sending it.
On
selling
the
it stocking.
low-priced items usually?
Yeah, things like certain things that are heavy, like a case of Coke.
Yeah.
Might be like what, $10 or something like that, and it just doesn't. You don't make any money.
Right.
The shipping eats it up. I mean, that's something I've been sensitive to. The world of e-commerce has changed so much. I got out of the musical instrument business because I saw it changing so rapidly. Because anywhere you could ship something, you didn't need a retail store. A guitar pedal is very standard product.
Right.
So, over the last 15 years especially, the world of e-commerce has been greatly, greatly affected by not only by Amazon, but just the general seller's ability, like things like Shopify and eBay and stuff like that have made it easier and easier and easier to sell something.
Yep.
So what are some of the challenges that you had related to Amazon? And we don't have to do anything to like chap them. But I mean, some of the things that have changed over time that have affected you, how have you adapted? What were they?
The big thing being competition. Like, there have been so many sellers going on like every day on Amazon. Like
with similar product?
There's been, so the keto coffee creamer has gotten very competitive versus most other grocery categories. And we've like held our own. We're still like probably like a top 3 product in there, but the competition is pretty crazy, and there's a lot of like weird products popping up. I know like a lot of Chinese sellers are coming in and like just trying to like take over listings, I know, and I kind of see like a listing for like an Xbox, and all of a sudden the next day it's a listing for like a coconut oil, and they're using all the reviews there to like leverage that product.
Weird.
It's very weird.
So
stuff,
they list one thing and then they change the name of it?
Yeah, they'll change the title, they'll change all that.
And considering like how many different things there are, like the other day, so I had a book come out like 2 weeks ago, so I've been on Amazon a lot as a seller, and the book sold well. It's funny, you look at your sales ranking, and at one point it was like the 3,000th most popular book on Amazon, and I was like, how many books are on Amazon? I looked at 32 million. I was like, my God. But and it's that same, there's just so many things out there. I bet they have a hard time policing
it for sure. And like they have rules and regulations around like product listings and all that, but still I'm seeing
trying to keep up with all that.
Yeah, I'm seeing
with
the big
half
guys
of the world's e-commerce or
crazy.
America or whatever. Like, dude, that's a daunting task.
Yep.
Have you had any issues with knockoffs or anything similar?
I mean, some people will try to buy our product and then list it as well. And there's companies that are sneaky and trying to buy wholesale, and then they put it on Amazon and take like half of your sales because they'll put it at the same price.
Because they undercut you by like a quarter.
So we have an agreement. It's like no one else can sell on Amazon, so we can own our own.
Yeah, Andrew was telling me there was I can't remember what it was called. It's like fencing, or there's some option where you can essentially build a fence around your product.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
There's like a brand registry.
Yeah. Something similar to that, and some other things that were meant to help protect that. At one point Amazon had an issue because we'll just use iPod as an example, and people would send in this particular iPod, and maybe it was blue, and they just threw them all in a bin.
Yeah.
And so then sometimes knockoff products end up, or maybe iPod's not a good example. Let's use Beats headphones, because that is a good example where you would have knockoff products coming in from nefarious sellers that had managed to import them successfully.
Yeah.
And they're just throwing them all in a bin. And then sometimes sellers need their stuff back or want it back or something, and they're just pulling back out of the bin. So you sent in like 100 legit pairs of something, and they had sellers that were getting, because in Seller Central you can actually kind of run your own store and fulfillment and delivery stuff like that. So they had people getting bunk stuff basically.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think they're doing a little better at policing that, but
I think they're gonna have to, because they've been sued multiple times for different things, and I think just like they're probably gonna have to enforce like some sort of product liability on companies, because there's nothing right now. Like we don't need, like anywhere else we'd have to provide some sort of liability, so that'll be a barriers to entry for most.
So here we are, and we're going to break the news. You have also made a deal with Walmart.
We have struck a deal with Walmart.
How's that going?
It has been something else, I'll tell you.
Okay, so you got to go look that up on YouTube because the look on your face kind of gave that away, and that's why I asked. Like, it's a process.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's just like a lot right now.
Yeah. So, but, okay, now some people make a deal with Walmart, and it doesn't end up being everything they wanted.
And that's what I always hear too. And I'm getting like a firsthand view of that. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. We can always we have the option of getting out of it. They have an option of removing us. So it's kind of like there's no contract in place for a timeline. So
yeah, and then not to downplay the power of the Power Creamer, but Walmart, I mean, dude, they do what they want to do.
Yeah,
not what you want to do. They do what they want to do. Not what you want to do, and they want a good deal. And then the thing is too is like, dude, there are 10 gabillion Walmarts, and if they're going to stock you, I mean, and then you have other issues too that come up. So now Walmart wants 50,000 of these things.
It's like, oh boy.
You don't have 50,000 of them, and you're not used to producing 50,000 of them or funding 50,000 of them or carrying the receivable on 50,000 of them. And Walmart doesn't pay you ahead of time.
Nope.
Will they give you net 60, net 90, net whatever they want to give you?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you have to go to one of those Walmart shows where you have to almost, it's it's almost like like an infomercial, but you're not on TV. You're basically auditioning your product for the Walmart buyers.
Yeah. So they have an on-call event every year in Bentonville, their headquarters.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yeah. So we applied. I didn't even remember we applied, and they were emailing us 8 times, hey, you guys gonna come? You gonna come? And we're like, all right, I guess we should just go with no expectation. Because last year I read 8 companies got a yes from them out of the 200 that went. So I'm like, this is probably not going to lead to anything.
1 in 25, 4%.
Yeah. And it was just a sit down in a little conference room with a category manager and an intern. And we pitched our product. We had 30 minutes, pitched our product, and they gave us a yes. So we're like, okay, we didn't discuss price yet. What's going on here?
But they already know. They know what they're going to pay.
They know it. That's exactly right. Yeah. And they're like, all right, so go down there, go to the media room, and we're going to start taking pictures, and we're going to get you, people are going to be calling you and stuff. We're like,
they want to make you feel really good before they tell you that they're going to pay you like shit.
It's exactly what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. So,
well, congrats on that, though, because, I mean, here's the thing, though, is, you're stamping some things that's a legitimacy stamp.
Yeah.
Speaking of pitching products, did I mention that this podcast is brought to you by Fullscale.io? I'm supposed to say that a number of times. They've been getting after me for not doing well with that. You can also visit our Instagram page at Startup Hustle Podcast on the gram, where we're going to post some pictures of Power Creamer and us and who knows what else. You can go to powercreamer.com, check out Greg's products, and at Power Creamer also on Instagram. So how long have you been in Walmart?
So we are going to get in Walmart.
Oh, you're not even. It's technically not even in
October. So we're about to get a PO.
Yeah, and they got to give you a runway for that.
So yeah, they've accepted 3 of our flavors, our Power Creamer flavors, and our collagen protein. Okay. And it's a new nutritional beverage section.
Which flavors? Did you bring me the ones that Walmart accepted?
The original. And we have...
The original has coconut,
a vanilla, and a cacao. So they did not accept the cinnamon, which I'm not sure why, because that one's pretty good. But... Yeah.
Dude, they have to be so scientific. They probably just didn't want to give you an extra 2 inches of shelf.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's really how they have to think.
Yeah.
Is well,
right.
I'm sorry, 2 inches of shelf would then mean we have to move the bread down, and we won't be able to. And Wonder is paying them for the end cap.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into any of that fun stuff yet?
Not a whole lot, so that's going to be a learning experience too.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of experience with that, but I know some people that have been in the grocery business. I mean, like the guy in charge of 15 stores or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the first time I learned that, and I don't think people know this, but when you go to the end cap of a grocery store, a lot of those food products are paying the grocery store to be in that spot
for placement,
not the other way around. It's not the grocery store saying, hey, we're going to put you down here because we just love this. They're like, hey, It's the other way around. It's the manufacturer and the producer that's like, hey, how about we'll juice you in here, no pun intended there, and we want the end cap or stuff like that. I mean, that's and so that's like a whole nother thing. So this label that you've got, it sticks out. That's something else I learned about selling on Amazon. The first book that I published, I thought that I had the cover just nailed, and I showed it to my editor, who's been the editor of a dozen New York Times bestsellers, and he's like, I fucking hate it. I was like, what do you mean? It's great. He goes, dude, shrink it down to a thumbnail size, and I did, and I couldn't even read the title, and I was like, dude, you're clearly way better at this than me.
Steps ahead.
Yeah, but that matters, and you have to think about that, because now, all right, so this is like 2 inches wide.
Yeah. So
this has to pop. This has to be somewhere where I'm going to notice it. You're building a brand, which is hard.
Very.
Because, do you have big box competitors into this? Like, I mean, if Kellogg's decides to start making this, well, you might have to give those 6 inches on the shelf back.
Yeah.
Is that a concern?
A little bit. There are definitely players with way more money than us that could jump in, but I think we're a recognizable brand in the space at this point, and a lot of people have tried us. So at least we have that going for us, and new flavors. I feel like we always have to be doing something new or fresh in the space, like a new flavor. We changed our label at one point, just something new that catches people's eye, because things just get stale and there's always new options. So you always have to be just pushing forward.
When you're on the keto diet or things I'm going to just refer to this as a limited diet. You don't have a wide array of things that you can eat, drink, and be cool with.
Yeah.
So I mentioned the Quest bar, which is pretty much a mainstay of the keto for solid things.
Right.
I mean, is that fair to say? I got a lot of Quest bars at home, dude. But you get over that stuff really quickly. So if you can find something that you like and you go with it, I mean, I would imagine that you probably get a lot of repeat business.
Yeah.
Or if people don't like it, then they throw it away. Who knows?
It's just one of those things it's kind of like a staple in the morning. It's if you choose to go this route, you're going to probably keep up with it.
So maybe the timing was perfect, and I didn't even think about this. So yesterday I binged watched The Food That Made America.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen that.
Do you know what it is?
I think so.
It's on History Channel. So
Okay.
the History Channel, which I'm a History Channel nerd.
Yeah.
They had the men who built America, and it was talking about Rockefeller and Ford and Andrew Carnegie, and they've kind of spun that off. So they did The Food That Made America, and it's talking about Hershey, Kellogg's, Post. There's a whole bunch of them. McDonald's is in there. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and in 1900. These are things you don't realize. There was no regulation over food. There was no control over the advertising. So Hershey at one point made a big splash during the Great Depression, and they're like, we have enough peanuts in this chocolate bar that it equals a pound of meat. Okay, that's not true.
No, it doesn't make
but
sense.
they were, but for 10 cents or whatever it was, you're like, you know what? That's a better meal than what I can't afford. So they actually did really well. But prior to that, people would go to the market. They're buying old meat and just gross stuff, and the food industry was apparently really cutthroat. But one thing that I learned about this, all right. So who invented the assembly line?
Ford.
Wrong. Hershey had an assembly line in their factory 10 years before Ford did.
Is that right?
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I mean, that was just law. I was just Ford invented. No, did not. Hershey was actually one of the first manufacturing facilities to go all electric.
Wow.
And to have an assembly line, and they literally stated, they said 10 years before Ford did it in their factories.
Dang, they gotta change the school books, huh?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. That was, I was shocked when I heard that. I actually rewinded it. And I was like, did I hear that right?
That
and
right?
Then, but it was cool. And so so much of that stuff was really played around marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, because we're running out of time here, so let's talk marketing for just a second. For someone that wants to, all right, we're in a day and age where you can rock a niche product and do all right with it. You just did it.
For sure.
People make, we're in Kansas City. We like to call ourselves the barbecue capital of the world. A lot of people make barbecue sauce. You see a lot of variety and a lot of things out there. I'm going to just give you the mic here, and you can just, if you are a food product startup, what is something you need to avoid, or something you need to like drop some knowledge on us, Greg?
Need to avoid?
Whatever you want to, the mic is yours. I'm going to just sit here. I'm going to shake this power creamer and maybe drink some.
I think you really need to know like who your target audience is, and like you can back into that almost, but you really have to just be like have a good differentiated product. It doesn't have to be like first to market. It can be like a play off of something existing, but it has to be something either like newer or better. And we followed the trends from the start to find like this product, and we just saw something working, and it's like we tweaked it slightly and made it all in one and then put it on the market, right? So it's just like we didn't create this market, we just fit into it. It's like you don't have to like try to be the first mover and like try to bring all the education and awareness for a product. You just have to be just pay attention and spot the trends, and just bring something new. Bring something new to the table.
But the trends can matter though.
Yeah.
I mean, and they do change though. So
you
have to be aware, because you can't like, if it's like the keto diet might not be popular in 2 years.
Nope.
So do you have to? So is that part of your thought process? Like, hey, we have to be prepared to be agile.
Yeah. So
because Atkins was big, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, Atkins products.
And then it was almost like people were like shitting on the Atkins diet. Like maybe that pun was intended, but they were kind of trashing them, because when Atkins died, I remember rumors there, because Atkins has always worked for low carbs. Always worked for me. I'm a big guy.
Always.
I'm 6'4". I weigh. I'm like, anywhere 225 to 235. But I can go on low carb and I'll lose 10 pounds in a week. I mean, it comes right off me, man. And it agrees with me, because any diet where I can eat bacon and steak, and like that's what I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I was worried about that. My doctor was like, "There's something about the absence of carbs that burns all that bad crap out."
Yeah.
But eventually, you start to kind of become ravenous for some bread or like something.
At some point, yeah. Like, I need some sort of carbs here.
Okay, so that was good advice on the other thing. What about now? Do you do anything to push this like in person? Like, I know there's online stuff, but like, do you go out and, I mean, there's probably a zillion places you can sell this.
I know. So we've made a push to get into like retail earlier this year, but I think like it was new for us. Like we're in some stores, we're in some coffee shops, but like our approach towards it, like we're new to that space. So like we're like, let's get really good at online and try to make a good enough product that people will come to us. And that's kind of worked, but we still need to like, make our way into these places and start pitching in person, which we haven't done as much as we should have in that regard. So we've mostly focused online so far.
Is being in Walmart something that will help that or hurt that? Because some people don't want to have the same stuff.
Right.
Like if you can buy it at Walmart, because Walmart's going to get it cheaper than me.
Yeah.
I don't go to Walmart.
I don't usually either.
Yeah.
I think it'll
I don't
help.
even go to the store. I'm not going to lie. My wife,
Amazon's
if my wife quits shopping, I will die. I will starve and die. Like, there's no doubt I can't survive. So, Jill, if you're listening, I might bring you some keto-friendly creamer today, and please go to the store.
Yeah, you can have those.
Thanks. Are these expired? I'm just
Absolutely
kidding.
not.
I'm just kidding. Well, look, this was interesting. Anything else you want to add? Other than go to powercreamer.com or at powercreamer?
Yeah, we got pumpkin spice if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the earliest ever that Starbucks let the
beginning of July.
It's going to happen next year in March. Like, pumpkin spice lattes are out.
It's back.
Dude, my wife really does go crazy for that stuff. I'm sure you'll do well with it.
Just wait till it gets like have one cool day and it's like, all right, it's pumpkin spice
Just
season.
wait till one leaf turns orange and then you hit the button, you hit the button on the advertising and you're all about it. Okay, so once again, if you want to check out what Matt Watson and I do, go to fullscale.io. We help people build software teams quickly and affordably. You can check out the other stuff we do. I'm also the founder of gigabook.com. We'll help you take appointments online. Matt's the founder of Stackify. It'll help your website run better, faster, cleaner. Go check that out. They have a free product too. If you want to check out Power Creamer, powercreamer.com, at Power Creamer on the gram, and we are at Startup Hustle as well. See you next time.